All right, hello everyone. Sulfur Winter, Sol Winter. We are dealing with some more happenings and shenanigans in the summer of year 9. We haven't even got to double-digit years yet.
They left the nobles unsupervised again.
Yes, they have left the nobles unsupervised. And who knows what they will do, except for, enjoy their nobility and wealth and power. I don't know. Maybe some shenanigans, maybe some intrigues.
I don't know about anybody else. I have caused no trouble.
No, none at all, Empress.
I should change your title to Empress on the Game of Shadows board, shouldn't I?
Just to screw with people.
She has announced herself as such. So.
I mean, as I was saying, the political scientist in me was like, okay, purely by definition, I have control over multiple dominions and a client monarch. I am pretty clearly an Empress.
Yeah, this is... I will not contest that.
It's fine.
Following that logic, Klenora should totally go for Empress.
The Empress might not agree.
I would recommend it.
She doesn't... she's perfectly happy to continue having a pawn, so...
Though, I mean, if something were to happen to the Emperor, then the title would be up for grabs,
First we have a war to win.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can say that political shenanigans are not just for this table. There are for English-speaking listeners. I know that the Swedish-speaking crowd knows already. But there is a series of books, novelizations of this campaign, and there is a lot of this stuff in those books too. A lot.
Apparently, my characters are very different in the books, from what I understand.
Ish.
Certain people are certainly going to have a bit of a cow once they hear what ended up happening.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we should introduce ourselves, right? I think I have the Jesses next to each other this time, starting with Folda, actually.
Hi, I am one of the aforesaid Jesses. At the Adventurers game, I was the only one, which was unique. But yes, I'm Jessica B. I am here representing Empress Georgiana of the Clavikian Empire. Probably mostly going to be playing her agent, Lady Brythanni.
And then we have the other Jess.
I'm Jessica Lapointe, and tonight I am playing Duchess Linvina Gombina and Praanz da Kaelve.
I am updating your token here to Empress Georgiana. There we go. And then we have...
And then I am Cincinnatus, aka Sin, and I am, of course, playing Lady Taralese da Bravaleti. Might be dabbling a bit in Duchess Klenora tonight. I don't know. We'll see where the night takes us.
Indeed. Yes. Our other agents, Promos Ab Golmonda and Duke Rovendo Alasella on the one hand, and Maru Sambar Syncoria and the Inquisitor Erald won't be making it tonight, alas and alack, but they should be back next time. That is what the rumors say.
I'm sure we Duchesses can throw enough shenanigans together.
I mean,
Hopefully.
Technically, Folda is also a Duchess by marriage, so...
Yes, you are.
Right.
I thought you were a Duchess to begin with.
She was originally the Princess of Folda.
Okay, Princess.
Duchess of Muscoria by marriage.
There is, yes. There's lots of titles around here.
Is there ever?
All right, I believe...
Not saying we're entitled, but...
And yes, entitled, and all the things, yes. Did we update your temporary goals on your character sheets? I'm not sure we did. and potential shadow commands, because I feel like things have happened. Let's start with things have happened. So this is now the third quarter of year 9, late summer and early fall, and it's been rather dramatic. Maybe I should allow Sin to describe the developments in the Bodak that did not get captured in the actual Game of Shadows, because it was like another thing after someone had done a lot of scheming behind the scenes during the RP sessions, like one of these.
That was brilliant.
Yes, it was.
So, Duchess Klenora decided to take advantage of the untimely demise of one Gomba de Grumi and finally made her move in the Bodak to shame and call out Duke Eelsop da Kamesti, or should I say former Duke Eelsop da Kamesti, for his treasonous acts and involvement in the loss of the Sulphur Camp and direct involvement with working with and conspiring with Transmiran and Palamuxi spies and rebels in transporting cursed weapons.
Yeah, and that was savage.
It was then proposed that in lieu of the recent death of Gombina and the other various rebellions happening across Transmira and Palamux, that we should go to war.
Yeah, there's not much opposition to that in the Bodak right now. There's been so many events happening, like I think the rumors from the wedding night, the great wedding of Geryon and Georgiana, says that they attacked an agent of the Digitalunga. Potentially even killed, nobody knows. Where has General Praanz been all this time? Do the people know where General Praanz is? Is General Praanz rumored to be dead?
Rumored.
Oh, is it? Have people said General Praanz is dead? Is that what we're saying?
I believe that is the rumor they were spreading. I was delivered back to the Red Cliffs by Ingloma.
Yeah.
And then when Goba died, I was ferried back to Ingloma by her brother.
That means that so Praanz is currently in Tresilva recovering from injuries sustained.
Right.
I mean,
but as far as I'm aware, the family's the only ones that know that Praanz is still alive.
I mean, it would fit Klenora's purposes and certainly Lady Taralese's purposes if everybody thinks that Praanz is dead, because
then you can miraculously resurrect me when you need me.
Yeah,
and just build that legend further.
Exactly.
Indeed. Yeah, and Praanz.
Oh, and spread how much of a yellow-bellied codfish Geryon is, that he was so intimidated by the mere presence of Praanz that he had to attack her openly.
And Praanz being a national hero on the island of Paratona.
I did have a parade.
You did have a parade, so this will of course generate an immense amount of anger and make it so much easier to rile up the masses for a war.
You should also point out that he was so intimidated that he couldn't even attack her himself. He had to have his minions do it.
True. Yeah, what was that?
Rumors of the celebration that accompanied the once word of Goba de Grumi's death made its way to other parts of the map. Probably stirred things up too a little bit.
That could very well be the case. I have a feeling like the general's reputation will be beyond just her own island at this point, right? Like, she first gained reputation for Arham and all that, and then gained reputation for what just happened on Palamux. So I'm gonna set her reputation to 4 now, at least, I think. Is that reasonable?
So I think between Gomba and Klenora, we should try and basically make Praanz into a living legend.
Oh, that is totally what she aims to do. You are our weapon of fear.
I will be your Joan of Arc. I'm fine with that.
So a level 4 reputation means that your entire home island have heard of you. And I think that is probably the case.
Okay.
So there we go.
So what's above general?
There isn't anything as far as I know. I'd have to double check that, but I think the
I don't know how
general
ranks
is,
work.
I think I'd have to start getting into Warhammer 40k levels of rank at that point.
No, I think general is the highest. In
I mean,
these.
it really depends on where you are and like what system you're using. Because there's stuff like Master of Arms, Commander in Chief.
Oh, there's a whole bunch
general,
of
like it depends.
Okay.
Shogun.
The Paratorians have a particular fondness for weird spins on titles. So Admirata instead of Admiral, and there's various variants on the standard titles. But in terms of just
Generalissimo?
yeah, that works. In terms of just commanding over actual troops, the highest you can go is basically general. So I think, the general is in a high position there. Oh, your fate dies there, Praanz. We have to work on that this session, don't we?
Yes, we do. I have nothing.
Yeah. That's
I
interesting.
used it all trying to save Goba, and it did nothing.
You're right. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah,
It was
did
very
not-
close though.
It was.
It
very
was.
close.
Considering you guys had double the dice I had, that was hilariously skin of the teeth close.
Your only saving grace is that Rob was the run rolling.
Yeah. But it was still a goddamn tie. The only reason they killed me is because they were the attackers.
And the sixes. The sixes.
And the sixes.
Yeah.
Oh, am I? So I forgot I needed to put a new experience on Lady Brythanni for leveling up. I was thinking
Right.
something along the lines of my mistress's husband sent somebody to assassinate me, but I talked him out of it.
You
That
seduced
works.
him out of it.
Yeah, that works well.
Who seduced who, really?
Yeah, that
Also,
Not
works.
that Sir
Rumors.
Artigue's hard to seduce.
Speaking of rumors, she would like it to be known that she is not Sir Artigue's girlfriend. For God's sake.
Is that her aim for tonight? I don't know.
No, her aim for tonight is what I've updated it on her sheet, and
good.
is what I've posted in the agents channel previously.
That's okay, because from the discussions that I've had trying to figure out Lavinia's background, because she was played like one time, it's like, okay, so what happened? And apparently it was an orgy, so it was a good time.
I'm thinking here, given how much socializing you're doing here, Lady Brythanni, do we want to, because you're looking at the leveling up and getting a new ability.
I was thinking Machinator to get that experience. That seemed like it would make sense.
Yes, exactly. That was exactly what I was going to ask about.
Yes.
So let's have a look at that. Because it makes sense. You've been in this court now for a while, and I guess you learn from the best. Hi, Lady Taralese. So what expertise might you want from this? You have 5 to pick from: hooks, insight, discretion, rabble rouser, and gossip. I don't think rabble rouser is going to be the thing this time.
I don't know, given the company she's been keeping.
Gossip
but it's not
also
really
probably
her-
would work really well.
it's not really a style to go out and rouse the rabble. That's a Nefria thing. Discretion works, like moving unseen. Hooks, discern an NPC's darkest secret. Insight, guess their true motivation. Gossip, spreading false rumors. Is there any of those that stand out to you?
I like hooks, but I think gossip is probably more in line with how she's been acting to date.
Yeah,
I
it
was
might
gonna
be.
say gossip definitely, from what I've interacted with Lady Brythanni, sounds appropriate.
You
Gossip
did
or
do
the
some.
insight one.
Yeah, that would work too.
You did
Actually,
do some.
given the nature of the experience that she had, I think insight actually makes more sense. Because she read Sir Artie like a book and was like, "This is not happening."
That's a fair point. That's a fair
It's
point.
not that hard to read.
I mean, she has 3 water to his 1, so
That is a fair point. Yeah, so she's basically developing her arc as a lady in waiting, and yeah, a lady of the court. Excellent. We don't have. How far do we have left for the other level ups here? Some bookkeeping. Why not?
Just have one more experience.
Praanz is almost ready for another level.
Yeah, I think we might actually get to that tonight. We hope. I mean, Praanz also just needs another level, another experience checked. And
I mean,
of course,
I really credit sitting across the table from Rob for this level up. I was rolling so terribly, I blew through like all of her experiences. Ridiculous.
oh, and we need to add a shadow command to Praanz, but for that we also need Praanz to actually get a new shadow power.
Praanz needs to be collected.
Yes.
Lady Brythanni needs a new one too. I'm torn between sort of a public administration one and a PR one.
PR is probably going to be the better one because that's a pretty steep hill to climb there. Especially after all the theatrics at the wedding with a Baru there.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, she seems to be kind of leaning into the PR right now.
Also, I don't currently have access to Duchess Gomba. I still have Goba de Gurmi.
Oh, right. You're right. I'll fix that. I have just...
And she is no more.
She is no more, which is going to make some people in Sweden shocked, I say. But that is the nature of
apparently
this
I
game.
did not have canon NPC armor.
That goes for everyone. Last time I ran this, which was never really recorded like this, we lost Empress Huneguya. We lost a lot of people. Edvil Hustler. I think we lost the Crystallocrat Manzonla. The Eternal Storm Pazuzu was a shadow power initially and was dispelled by powerful magic use and thus disappeared from the board. Sambarsun Korea died. Clemendra Goomba died. It was a lot. There was a lot, let's just say. So, yeah, these things happen when we play this style, and I kind of like it because it means that it makes the play yours, and that's the whole intention here. Okay, I think I have given you access to Gombina now. I haven't actually statted her yet.
I have her. I see her.
She is going to have a high water. There's no doubt about that. I'm thinking just high water and wind and low everything else.
Yeah, she's definitely a social fuck you.
Yes. And I think maybe smart as a button too.
Yeah.
Cunning schemer, right?
She doesn't need to beat the shit out of you. She has people for that.
Yeah. And she's not going to need any shadow commands because she's the one making them. And then abilities, there's going to be a lot of Machinator, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Machinator and a little magic. Is what I was thinking.
That works.
Because she's supposedly been studying under Fundabera, right?
She has. Would she be knowledgeable in illusionism or moon magic?
I don't know what moon magic does.
Moon magic is the closest we get in this game to, I guess, Hollywood-style witchcraft.
I hear it's very fun.
It can be, yeah. So you can do all moon magic is ritual in nature. You have to spend a scene doing a ritual. You should do it outside. If you don't do it outside, it's going to be one higher difficulty level. Or if the clouds are hiding the moon, it's one higher difficulty level. So
that's the one that requires a lot of blood sacrifice?
It requires some kind of sacrifice, not necessarily blood. The most common, though, is to sacrifice an animal or burn some valuable object. If you decide to sacrifice a human, you get a bonus die.
That's probably the one she would have taken then. Like I said, my inspiration for her is very Elizabeth Bathory.
I like that. Yeah, okay.
Nice.
So
It also seems to involve a lot of dancing around naked, from what I've seen.
Yes, it's optional, but definitely popular.
which again, I feel like she would be fine with.
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
I'm
that fits with the Gombas anyway,
Yeah.
considering they hunt their peasants for sport.
Yeah. Well, more the skeks, really, for sport, but...
Still, I mean,
serfs
waste
too
not,
every
want
once in a
not,
while, yeah.
right?
Yeah, serfs too, just to keep them on their toes. Yeah.
Lavinia needs proper sacrifices. That's what the hunt's about.
Yeah, there you go.
They're never wasted.
Yeah. No, the skeks, they live in the Criffer Woods, and they're the ones who have domesticated the mustelons, which are basically giant ferrets.
Okay.
And they...
Do we ride them?
Not quite that big. Think their size would be about a really large dog, maybe.
Okay, so she might have a few as a pet.
I'm not sure that they would have sold any to you guys, seeing as you hunt them for sport.
I'm not saying they would have sold them to me.
Oh. Okay, that's a theoretical possibility, yes.
I'm saying I would have taken them.
That's a fair point. That's kind of more Linvina style, really, I think, yeah. So, yeah, you have a little mountain fortress up here. Helterhem is your...
Now, where is that?
Helterhem is right where your token is, basically. If you look at the little castle here, I'm pinging it right there.
There we go.
Yeah,
Aren't
that's
we all
Helterhem.
really finding ourselves?
And
Some of
that
us
is
more than others.
their estate, which is literally like a castle high up in the mountains, fortress style. I mean, you're basically Strahd, right? Sitting in your castle, ruling over your Barovia, and
I've literally only been brought out because I need a new commander of the army.
or something like that. Yeah. I mean, Clementer
You
Goomba and
must
Trimble
truly be
Goomba.
desperate if you have come to me.
Pretty much.
Yes.
From what I understand, she enjoys her ritual sacrifices and her hunting, and she stays in her castle unless the Empress comes to her and goes, we might need you at the next council meeting.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I think
She tries to keep one brother from starving to death and the other brother from killing too many people at once.
I mean, Trimble doesn't have the whole problem with starving. I think the brothers, the Gomba brothers, Clemander and Trimble, if they have any problem, it's that they sometimes cause too much of a public thing.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, yeah, from what you explained, there's the monk who basically doesn't speak.
Yeah, no, you keeping him from you have 3 brothers, in fact.
Oh, I have 3. Okay,
Yeah,
I
you
thought
have
I only
3
had
brothers.
2.
No, you have 3 brothers, and one of them basically
I
never
mean,
speaks.
if one of them becomes too much of a problem.
I only have 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, you
that would help fuel a very powerful ritual, I feel. So
It would.
What are you talking about? I've always only had 2 brothers.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll move this card for a moment here. So your your oldest brother is a Ranzine monk, and this is the Mount Rans here. I'm going to ping it right there. Why isn't it pinging? Oh, it's because I haven't marked it. There we go.
So
It's
he just stays in his mountain and doesn't talk to anybody, right?
Well, he comes by every once in a while to Helterhem and does nothing. He basically sits staring at a wall, and the servants will check that he's still breathing by holding a mirror to his mouth. And
so he just has permanent babysitters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he considers that to have... but he's doing his meditations and being sacred and listening to the mountain. So
that's what Linvina considers it.
Yeah, probably. And her other, the younger two brothers, Clemender and Trimbolt, and Clemender is the older of those two, they're basically out hell-raising whenever they want to.
Hot-headed idiots.
Yes. No, Clemender is not an idiot at all. He's very sly. I have, in fact, his picture there. He's older than Linvina and very sly, but he is also patently disinterested in managing worldly affairs. He only does things that are fun.
So I make us powerful. He's a party boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, sometimes his idea of a party
Clenora has
is...
a friend.
What?
Clenora has a friend.
Yeah.
Sometimes his idea of a party is going to court and doing something to make all the courtiers and nobles have a hissy fit because it's fun.
That's fun. I'm about to distract him with the war. He'll be okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That it could be fun. He hasn't had a war for ages, so I'm sure he'll.
I'll give him some troops to command. It'll be great.
Yeah, as long as it's not too inconvenient. He's probably gonna bring the family Zeppelin so he can go home when sieges get boring, things like that. So that is basically your two brothers there. Yeah.
Here's some villages to raise and pillage.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Speaking of which, I should add a couple of armies for you guys, right? In this system, we don't really have field battles that way until, we do RP sessions, then we can do that. But the Game of Shadows doesn't do... It's not like a war game with hexagons or anything like that. We don't have an economy. We have to build troops and field them like you have in Birthright, what have you. So we'll have to replicate that. I mean, if you have... I know that some of you now have groups like Enforcers or Foot Soldiers for Klenora, Guards for Linvina. Those are the troops, and if they are level 5, it's like it's an army, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because Klenora's got a useless brother too, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah. She keeps him at home, lets him keep up with his genealogy books. And that's pretty much it.
So that's probably why Linvina and Klenora are friends, because we just commiserate over our useless brothers.
This setting does seem to have a surfeit of useless brothers.
Yep, that can happen.
It's like it's a commentary on just how useless men were at actually running their houses and affairs.
9 times out of 10, it was the wife that ran the household.
Mm-hmm.
Men were too busy off at war.
Rovendo is very useful, I'm sure.
I feel like he leans into the stereotype of the useless brother for his own, purposes.
Yeah, that might be the case.
See, he's at least proven himself that he can be useful.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, basically the only, I guess, useful Duke is Belsiria and Paraltro.
Well, I feel like Lavinia uses Clemender as more of a scare tactic.
Yeah, that could work quite well, in fact.
Because he's pretty vicious.
Yes, he is.
I feel like she could also just point him at situations she wants to become more chaotic.
That too. Go fuck this up.
Yep, that's...
It's like Simba, but on purpose.
Exactly.
That went so horribly. So horribly.
Speaking of which, how is the Budak going to react to Simba's handling of the Transmuran situation? I feel like that might actually be a good place to start.
What's even worse is when I read that, I misread it, and I thought it was Simba they were burning alive.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was Simba
I
burning
figured
someone
that out
alive.
afterwards. But as Praanz was just like, what? Took me a second. I had to reread things.
I mean, admittedly, Praanz may have been hopped up on various, like, pain.
Praanz probably
potions.
was.
And so, like, that may, in fact, have been her initial reaction. It's like, what? They burned my cousin alive? Oh my god.
I knew it happened someday. I just hoped it would have been me.
That's closer. Same with Gomba.
And then being very disappointed when, no, Simba's still alive, and in fact, he was the one burning people alive.
Well, I feel like Gomba's the more disappointing one because it's like, damn it, I wanted to kill her myself. She betrayed me. Definitely no one's happy with him. The fact that he's failed so hard and one measly rebel leader is beating him so bad.
It's not one measly rebel leader anymore. Rumor has
But it was at the time.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
But rumor has it that the Rungli population up here are also starting to do raids into Himbergon with their infamous scolopods. Those are the giant centipedes that they ride down the mountainside.
In his defense, Praanz went up there to just see how he was doing, and I'm pretty sure the entire town had been magicked, but I didn't get the chance to tell you guys that yet.
This is true. Yeah.
Because I got my face beat in first.
Praanz has just returned to Tresilva, but nobody knows, apparently. Will we have a scene?
Depending on how quickly word travels, some Lasamosi military forces were seen in Himbergon semi-recently.
It doesn't take that long for word to travel between these various places.
Would Ngloma have sent anything to the Bodak or the powers that be, basically trying to get more favors for, hey, I have Praanz?
That'd probably be a very under the table deal. She's trying to play the neutral card.
Yeah. And no, she's not going to advertise it to the Budak as a whole. She might send a message to Klenora or Alicella, or why not Linvina, because now Linvina is a player. But she's not going to march into the Budak and say, hey, you guys, I have the general.
Just wondering if letters had been sent, is all.
Oh, I'm sure.
Can't say that I have it on very good authority that Klenora and the good godmother have been in communications with one another. So...
then that is the situation, I'm sure.
Okay.
Is someone then appointing Linvina as the new director of the Digitalonga? Is that what we're saying here?
That was the conversation I believe the Bodak was having.
I think so.
Well, I thought the Digitalonga was more secret police, less true military.
It is a secret police, but it needs a new director. Who will be the new M, basically? You killed M!
I am cool with taking it over. Like I said, my plans for Lavinia, she's just gonna make everybody a whole lot meaner.
You know, I think for the Digitalonga, it might be suggested to rather use to promote Kiestri de Cartarinda.
Oh, the Duchess of Karamak.
Mm-hmm. She's
cool.
young, ambitious, malleable.
Ambitious
she's
and
simply
malleable,
controlled
yes.
by Klenora and Gomba.
Oh, isn't it a power grab?
He's young, ambitious, expendable.
Exactly.
Interesting.
That might
move.
be. She's the face, but we give the proper orders.
So this is an interesting development here. So Praanz is in sickbed and convalescence during this time, healing up that face. I should really do something about that token, by the way, because you don't
She
look
needs
that
more
good anymore.
scars. No, I need more scars.
I mean, if you tell me what you want, I can try and do something, especially since it's small enough. I don't need to be overly precise.
Like there should be scars on here, right? I think I can fix that.
I was thinking just 2 in the cheekbones, like.
I think
You must have
Joker-esque.
like neck thing.
Right, I've got the black veins up the neck. So one's black veins up the neck and the other's sliced down my face.
I like to imagine she just wears this cowl now around her neck, but if you catch her in just the right light, you see these little.
Oh no,
Could be
fuck
blue,
that.
could be black, hard to tell.
Praanz doesn't care enough about looks.
What's that about her lower back?
That's different.
Uh-huh.
That's different.
Uh-huh.
We don't
That's,
talk about the lower back.
We don't talk about that. That's different.
I don't know what's actually going on, but I'm imagining an embarrassing tramp stamp. That's what I'm imagining.
Something similar, I think.
I mean, yeah.
Definitely means she's of questionable breed.
Good way to
But
put it.
other than that, the veins in the neck, I feel like she would use that to her advantage.
As an intimidation tactic, yes.
Right,
Absolutely.
it just makes her look scarier.
Other
Yeah.
people have a throbbing vein in the forehead. Praanz has this pulsing black mass in her neck. You know,
See, we need to use it for dramatic flair when you whip it off and everyone can see I am deathless. I'm
True.
inevitable.
There you go. And it's not a pulsing black mass. I feel like it's more like spider webs, almost like spider web veins, all along her neck.
Look more like someone who got hung, just like all black, just the solid black and blue, but then these spider webs
Right. Yeah.
coming out from it.
I
Yeah.
am going to send that token
Hung
to
or
my
poisoned?
graphic designer and let her do it because I feel like Artbreeder will come up short on this.
Oh yeah.
Because yeah, I feel like the reason she just kind of insta died when she got hit was because it snapped her neck. And that's what the healing tried to fix, was the snapped neck.
Mm. Yeah, that works. That works. That works. Excellent. So she will be as a general of the Digitalunga. You are still, a general of the Digitalunga. That hasn't changed. Guba had an understanding with the general where Guba was mostly just staying in the headquarters in Farm Kaelve and doing administrative stuff at home, while Praanz was, field Dirty Harry. But as a general, also could have a lot of a hand in sending agents out and talking to agents in other parts of the realm, because you have those.
Right.
There
I
are
also
agents
feel
everywhere.
like maybe Praanz, because she's gotten such a reputation now, she would be moved more from being secret police to the head of an actual troop.
is Praanz going to become the director of the Secret Service?
I tried to make Praanz a shadow power. We couldn't do it.
I mean,
Because
that
I was
doesn't
just going to be
necessarily
my
make
own
her the
shadow power. It's fine.
though.
I was just going to promote myself.
You have underlings. You could have taken up any of the other ones. Any of your minions.
I've been thinking about it, but I feel that Praanz is so much the field person.
Yeah, I don't think she'd make a good director of the
That's-
Digitalunga.
That's my sense.
Hush, that's why Klenora wants her there.
Klenora wants to use me. It's fine. I know.
You know, but just because you're not qualified for a position and you're not going to be good at it does not mean you will not get the position.
There have been many examples of this.
This is yes. Can attest as a political scientist. We can attest to this, both of us. That merit is not necessarily the reason you get.
I can just imagine the person who breaks the news to Praanz rising from her sick and Praanz being like, "Fucking excuse me,
Bitch, what? I have people to kill. I don't have time to order minions
also
around."
you're getting married."
Oh, so this is how that works then. So Linvina will be the shadow power because Praanz doesn't care about the courtly things and
Right.
moving minions around on the big smickle board. Like, Praanz gives orders to minions and they do it for her in the Digitalunga.
Because Praanz is Praanz and she's scary as fuck.
But she doesn't care about the whole influence part. Like,
No.
and
Praanz
then
might also not have like great follow-up, so she gives orders. Whether or not those orders are actually followed, on the other hand.
and
No,
then
Praanz does not have great follow-up.
And then Linvina is the one who actually has the influence.
Right.
And these two will be a power couple?
Sure.
Wait, who is... So now we're talking another marriage. This is fun. We don't have to play the wedding. We've had a wedding episode already. Though we could play it.
We could play the wedding. I'm not sure how that will work out if I'm marrying myself, but we could figure it out.
I mean, hey, Sue Sylvester made it work. Also officiated her own wedding, as I recall.
It's a secret wedding. You're eloping. It's fine.
Okay, that can work with me.
So, Lavinia asks Klenora to assist her in retrieving Praanz because she figures that this will be an excellent marriage of convenience. We just have to talk Praanz into it.
Right.
I think that would work. You can have your castle prepared, right? I hear she likes weapons, lots of them.
Yes, that could be done.
All the
I have an entire torture chamber she can use.
Oh, lovely. You can set up a date over a torture session. I'm sure it'll go over well.
I'll have to have some peasants brought in.
I'm sure you'll do wonderfully in finding them.
This will be excellent. I'm sure it'll go fine.
Does this mean that Praanz's next level up will be in nobility?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It could still be in Banzikan.
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you if you want.
I mean,
wanna level
Praanz
up.
could fail to capitalize on the opportunities that are being offered.
That
to
is true.
her
That is true.
For advancement within the nobility.
That is true.
Also, Praanz isn't worried about the nobility part. However, Banzikan, the whole not dying thing.
Yeah.
She does have a reputation to build.
Banzikan is very handy for not dying. It really is. Fearless, willpower, discipline. Your enemies cannot use your misery against you. Not bad to have.
That's what I was thinking, because she
Yeah.
literally didn't die when she should have died.
I think that would probably be her level up experience, in all honesty, is she lived.
Yeah. I took a giant hammer to the face, and I made a deal with the devil.
I feel like, the upside of permanent nerve damage is, not having your miseries usable against you.
Right. Praanz just doesn't feel it anymore.
It
Hi,
could
Ajax.
either be discipline or willpower. Willpower allows you to keep going when broken.
That could be useful too.
Yeah, it's not necessarily easy, but and to be fair, this particular moment when you got 8 points of damage in your face, so the difficulty is the amount the misery supersedes your target blood, and in this case it was a lot.
Yes.
6. So the difficulty would be 6 for this bouncing count roll.
But I would have been able to make the roll.
You wouldn't have enough dice. It's wind plus, in your case, 2 fate dice, so you'd have 4 dice to roll with. But when you have enough Bansigan, yes, that's a thing that can happen. Like a level 5 Bansigan champion can do just that. It's like, yeah, I took
also
eight
feel
points
like
to the face.
8 damage
I'm fine.
is not the typical case.
No, that was the one time that Rob rolled really well.
Yep.
Actually, he rolled stupidly well with the swamp death too. I'm noticing a trend here. He seems to only really roll well when he's
trying to kill
killing
Praanz?
people. No, just when he's trying to kill people.
I've noticed that about RPGs. Sometimes it feels like the dice decide what I'm good at, not my character sheet.
Yep.
For instance, this
that
campaign,
happens.
I am really fucking good at running away and like nothing else.
That's okay, because this campaign I'm really, really good at stomping people and telling people what the fuck to do. But nothing else.
Like, Malik should be dead, like several times over.
You are not wrong. But yeah, I have never seen Malik survive the first book in this campaign. Ever. So
I mean,
yes.
admittedly, he did have some help
He did have some help.
from unexpected places.
In all honesty, I'm surprised the wedding went the way it did. Like, there's no way I should have been able to intimidate my way out of that.
Sometimes Bansigan works.
I mean, you also had help.
True.
Yes.
I did.
So let's see now.
I'm just
You-
happy nobody ended up dying.
What did we say? What your temporary goal was there, Praanz? For the
I
because
thought
you've
she
been
said it.
or are you still doing the Scorch Some Rebellion things? Because I mean, it still works, right?
No, I believe it was to
Get Praanz back.
Oh, get Praanz back.
And
recover
establish
Praanz.
Establish Gomba, retrieve Praanz, regain my military.
Right.
Ah, yes. I remember I read that.
Yes. That
How
was
is
the
that
thing.
all?
Which the deal with Klenora kind of regains the military to an extent. I'm fine running it as a proxy.
Retrieve Praanz. Now, did this suggest that we're still, or retrieve Praanz to active duty, or retrieve Praanz to Paratorna? Because it seems to me like Ingolma smuggled her back to Tresilva, right? That was
Right.
she said.
They basically, from what I understand, what was sent to me was when they heard about Goba's death, a message was sent to Ingloma's brother, giving them the option to get the fuck out of Dodge, and he basically drug Praanz's unconscious body back to Tresilva.
Yeah. And so Praanz will wake up in Tresilva after having been out for a week.
And the last thing she witnessed was Goba's death while she was high on painkillers.
Right.
I imagine part of her's like, that wasn't real. Like,
No, that can't be real. What the fuck am I doing in Tresilva?
Are we gonna have a scene where Lady Taralese brings the news about Praanz's new status to Praanz?
I feel, yeah, because I feel like Taralese's the
I would like to watch that.
best one they would have sent in, because they're like, you know her, you're good, you know her better than the rest of us. You
She's
can talk
less
her
likely to
down.
bite you.
She's
mean-
less likely to stab you.
Worst comes to worst, she has other ways of being persuasive.
True.
Absolutely so. So Lady Taralese will be, I'll switch to our lovely map of Tresilva, because we love that city, don't we?
And yeah, I feel like Klenora and Gomba would have been like, go get her.
Please go get her
I'm
before the
fine.
rebels knock her off too.
Yes. They've already tried once.
They do. They did. Yeah. It's even rainier this day. Because
How fitting.
reasons, yes. And Praanz will be somewhere in the under the care of the wig makers. I'm gonna say I
Would
don't
they
think
have
that
put her back in her home?
You know what? Probably they will have put her back in her home.
They would have had Matthew there to attend her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this. Taralese would insist on her being taken home before she wakes her up, so she's at least waking up in a familiar place.
I feel like Takandra is just there also, just being useless.
Yes.
Eating, just constantly eating.
Eating, drinking,
making sure Praanz's weapons are out of reach.
Yeah, also that, making sure Praanz doesn't hurt herself while she's hallucinating. Ducking
given
thrown
me the good
objects
drugs.
from doing that.
Yeah.
Occasionally throwing things back.
So Villa Parenti, Praanz's villa. It's called Villa Parenti, and you do have your servants there, Praanz, who handles the local affairs.
Clean up all the thrown objects.
Yes, those.
All the broken things.
Indeed.
Has a carpenter in her employ.
So servants probably would have let Lady Taralese in. They would know her probably by face by this point. She's visited at least once before.
I get the feeling that this is not gonna be like very courtly music here, because I don't think that's Praanz's style, really, is it?
No.
So more.
Probably more Halloween horror house.
War drums, maybe?
That better?
Dirges.
I'm fairly certain Takandra would have met Lady Taralese at some point in the past, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to think, okay, like, would she be like, who are you? Or more like, oh, thank gods.
It's more like, oh, thank gods.
Maybe more like, oh, thank God, did you bring the wine?
Did you bring the booze?
Well, I mean, probably not saying it out loud, but oh, thank gods the adults have arrived.
So Lady Taralese is probably lent into sounds of something smashing.
Fresh.
Another cracked pot.
Praanz is probably coming down off some hallucinogens again.
She'll stand at the door. 1, 2, 3. Okay, she's too busy searching for something new. Go in. Praanz, darling. How are you feeling?
Taralese, you actually there?
If it helps, I do come bearing gifts. And she'll hold up a bottle of wine.
Praanz comes and just takes a big swig straight from the bottle. They tell me I took a hammer to the head?
Yes, unfortunately, Sir Artigue has quite the impressive hammer. And his shoulders aren't just for show, unfortunately for you. But
Remind me to take that from him.
of course, it'll make a wonderful mantelpiece for you later when you kill him.
Yes, it will. I had the wildest dream while I was under. They broke into the Red Cliffs?
Yes,
Now, how could those idiots get into the Red Cliffs?
magic. I'm sure Errol will be thrilled to hear about that.
I'm sure Errol will be killing somebody at the stake.
Yes, you unfortunately were a bit out of it when I'm blanking on his name at the moment. Was a rather scraggly fellow. Apparently he works for Ingulma, but anyway, when he did something with some runes and caused you to freeze in place, the look on Errol's face was interesting.
Yeah, Errol will be keeping up his mental list of who hits the stake next.
Oh, I'm sure it's a mile long by now. But anyway, you didn't answer my question. How are you feeling today?
Coming down off the latest painkillers they gave me. This is new, and she points to her neck. I don't know how I got that.
Well, let's just say it's a token of your time out there in Fontrasulor. It seems you got a parting wedding gift.
a broken neck.
Yes. But you also have a new lease on life. You see, they think you're dead.
Oh, so he hit better than I thought he did.
Quite. Everyone could hear it inside. It was rather impressive.
Checks her face in a broken mirror. Lovely.
You know, I could give you some techniques, show them to you how to hide it if you like. I know it's not necessarily your style, but... or maybe an algae silk scarf. I could arrange that.
Something.
But in any case, unfortunately, now that your boss, I suppose, former boss, the director is dead.
What?
Yes, she did go down with the fight, I heard. It was
That-
rather impressive.
That wasn't a hallucination?
I'm afraid not, my dear.
God damn it, they got the bitch before I did.
She turns around and hides that smile, just like, yes, of course. But in the meantime, a new head of the Digitalonga has already been appointed by the
That was
Voldak.
fast. Well, I suppose they probably found out Gobo was a traitor, so, you know.
Well, that in honor of her death and her rather untimely death, I decided to keep that part quiet. Now, the Duke, on the other hand, that was glorious.
Oh, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall.
Oh, it was wonderful. But anyway, so I do believe at some point you should go and meet your boss. She even has an interesting proposal for you.
Really, who is it now?
Are you familiar with Duchess Linvina? Is it Gombina?
Yep, Gombina.
Or is it
Linvina Gomba.
Gombina,
Hi.
just Gombina. Linvina Gombina.
Ah.
Da
Say that
Helterhem,
5
if you
times
have to be-
fast.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like a pasta dish.
Linvina Gombina da Helterhem, if you want to be.
I think she'll go by Liv.
I believe her friends call her Liv. She's a rather interesting woman. I think you'll appreciate her.
Oh, she's got to be better than the last.
I would just say, perhaps it's time you went out into the countryside. Got some fresh air for a little bit. Mountain air will do you good.
Sounds good. I'm taking a, Do I still have access to my soldiers? I should still have access to my soldiers.
Yeah, you would, though if you are officially dead, no. You have to be reinstated to the Digitalonga and declared. This is like, you know, in the Bond movies when Bond dies and comes back. Like he was, yeah, he was declared. He was declared dead. What was that? Skyfall, right? That where he was
Yeah.
gone for a while, and then he came back and was reinstated. So as long as you're officially dead, and I mean, there's also unofficially dead, or unofficially alive, where the organization pretends that you're dead, but the highest ranks who have access to that level of top secret information knows that you're actually not dead.
I think that's where we're at this point.
Or the converse. The organization pretends you are alive when you are in fact very dead.
Well, that's not where we are, because
Well,
she's not very dead.
Lady
She's supposed to be
Taralese, would you be a darling and have your tailor fashion something for this?
You'll let me design your new apparel? I
Yes.
thought you'd never ask. And
I have a question here.
okay.
Has Taralese seen a certain lower back feature?
No, Praanz has been very careful to hide it every time Taralese has helped her dress.
Will Praanz be sloppy this time?
Praanz might be out of it enough to be sloppy.
Because that would give you a fate die from the chalice.
Because she's stoned enough to let Taralese dress her and design something for her.
There we go. Then Taralese will know the secret.
Yes.
Which I think Sin already knows, right?
Finn has a guess.
Sin has a guess.
The stain upon the family name. Now you have a fate die.
Yes. So yes, Praanz will let you design some kind of collar choker thing for her and help her find something appropriate to wear.
Yes, and of course she will tailor it to the... Is this more midsummer or late summer at this point?
Let's go with later summer. So,
Okay,
Birdo
so-
is what is it? It's the 8th month, so equivalent of August.
As long as it can fit a holster, I'm
Oh.
good.
That's totally time for fall fashion. She's totally getting her...
How many knife sheaths are in this color?
Exactly.
Not nearly enough.
Oh yeah, she's totally dressing her up in the latest fall fashions. Just came out. I mean, it's going to go wonderfully. Thankfully for her, collars are in style this fall. Not sure why, especially since, the whole chest is exposed anyway, but...
You're right. I'll where did it go?
I think Taralese is here like, I am not wasting this opportunity.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Especially if Taralese knows what Praanz is about to walk into.
I mean, we know that clothes only have to last until the fashion changes, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
As long as Praanz can draw a weapon and, fight somebody in it, she's content.
I feel like Praanz is pretty rough on her clothes.
So it has to be very color. What kind of nice, colorful clothes are we using here?
Probably, definitely, since red has always been Praanz's color, dressing her in reds and probably a mixture of burnt cyans, dabbles, splashes of yellow in there too. Very fall colors, fall leaves.
Very nice. Is
Go well with all the black.
Mm-hmm.
is Coraldian Scraffring still in fashion?
Can't say I'm familiar with what that is.
Coraldian Scraffring. Everybody knows.
Yeah, I can't say I know what that is.
Does she have one of those like gigantic neck ruff things?
I feel like it's more like a high collar
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like it's like obnoxiously high. Like how do you turn your head kind of things.
I was thinking more like a BDSM choker, but that works too.
Like concealed neck brace type of situation.
Pretty much.
I like it. And of course, an open chest, sleeves, body painting, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Strategically
Black,
placed.
all black body paint to go with her theme.
She's, for being a Praetorian, she is unusually drab. Like, we're not talking bright green and red, hurting your eyes kind of colors.
I'm fine with that.
She'll find a black that's more like an oil sheen, so it's still got that kind of shimmer effect to it.
So we want to hide the part of your skin that's actually black, and then we're going to paint the part of your skin that isn't black.
Yes!
Yes.
Brilliant!
No one will suspect a thing.
I'll just assume my paint has smudged up my neck.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
Okay.
fine. This is fine.
Are we gonna smuggle Praanz out of town? Is that what we're saying?
Oh, at this point, Taralese's done enough. I don't think Praanz looks like Praanz. Most people would be used to
Maybe?
Praanz in like leather, full leather garb.
A deep cloak. What can Taralese do to hide someone? We don't have the artistry disguise expertise here. So, are we going to use... Is there going to be a water roll here of some kind to try to disguise Praanz as best as possible, with obviously bonuses for having access to all these tools?
I suppose the hardest thing to disguise about Praanz would be the walk.
Mm-hmm.
That like military canter.
Yeah. And if anyone starts to get a little too curious,
Why
or
don't we
at
have a
least
little bit of a roll
might
here?
discourage them.
I think we should have a little bit of a roll here, I think, yeah. Taralese, I'm gonna say that this is a water check because you're trying to disguise Praanz. You don't really have any abilities that would help with that unless you want to use your magic.
I mean,
somehow.
she and Tokandra could switch clothes.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be
could.
helping you, but
Yeah,
because like
You do
Tokandra
wanna-
doesn't look completely dissimilar to Praanz.
Yeah.
No. And you would want to help her get me out of the city.
well, in theory, the servants are
Wait,
fine.
So
It's
Kendra
everyone
totally
else.
could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Tokandra
you get
totally would help her. Yeah.
you definitely get an extra die for having all the wrong or right type of clothes and the preparations. So why don't we have a water roll with +1 there? That's 3d6, unless you help out with some. But I don't know how the mentalism would help in this case. Because you would have
Not
to...
unless she's got a way that she can cloak people's minds from seeing Praanz.
Exactly.
That would be a huge area, though.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah, the best she could do is spread doubt. Again, if someone starts to look a little too closely at her, start paying a little bit too much attention, trying to tail us.
That would also be a thing that you'd have to... Then you would have to accompany Praanz and do it if they get close enough.
The other thing, too, is only the Bodak and Ingloma know that Praanz lived through that.
Yep. Oh, the
Praanz
Bodak
is
should
supposed
know.
to be dead.
But the Bodak shouldn't know, because if the Bodak knows, everybody knows.
Sorry. Linvina and
Yeah.
Klenora.
Yeah, that's better.
Know that, and Ingloma know
yeah,
that Praanz
Ingolma
lived
will
through
know, and so there's like 3 nobles who knows about it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So maybe what would end up happening is Lady Taralese, of course, would get Praanz all dressed up, get her into into a different carriage, no specific livery, anything like that. Tokandra could still play hide and seek in Praanz's place.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what Tokandra's background is, but like if she arrived there via carriage, then perhaps you could take Tokandra's carriage.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it would be more Tokandra throwing off Ingloma's spies.
Yeah, I was gonna say Taralese looking for Ingolma's spies who are watching at the time to spread doubt in them that they actually might have seen Praanz leave. And no, that couldn't have been right.
I can picture Tokandra just like badly like taking some eyeliner to her neck, like yeah, totally Praanz, look at me.
No. All you have to do is make sure the door stays closed and occasionally throw something to break it.
No, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right.
Take the inkwell, splash.
You need to swear more.
So,
Is there anything you don't want me to break?
Nah, I really don't care.
it's a hard struggle to mimic Praanz, I'm sure. So we are going to okay. Let's have a look. Spy check. We're gonna have one of Ingolma's agents. Obviously, they're watching the house. Not supposed to say that, but they are. And I'm gonna spend a fate die for NPC.
I'm sure they're watching the house with Praanz's best interests in at heart.
Yes, it's only Praanz's best interest at heart, nothing else. So I'm gonna roll 4d6. They've had the time to set this up properly, and there's gonna be more than one, I'm sure. And that was a miserable. I should have marked Ingolma when I rolled that, but that's okay. That was a terrible roll. Not a single success on their spying on the house. So, yeah. I guess you know they're there.
They're young.
There's
It's just some
There's
kids.
someone behind a potted plant.
Yes.
The fat guy trying to hide behind the lantern pole.
Probably just a bunch of Matthew's buddies, and they're just as good as he is.
Yeah,
He's distracted them. They're all drinking.
That's actually probably the most likely thing.
Nobody thought that anybody would come for Praanz because Praanz is supposed to be dead.
Yeah, Marthas and some of his friends are sitting and having a drink in the street outside.
They're possibly taking bets on like how many thrown objects they're gonna hear over the course of an hour.
What will Praanz break next?
That's great. So I guess it's gonna be easier for you to hide away and get out of town that way. You know you're being watched. Praanz, do you want to roll a sneak check here?
Sure.
Supported by Taralese. Taralese, roll 3 dice, I guess.
Oh, I think that's the wrong.
Oh, look at that. That is amazing. 2 6s. That gives you 1 for success plus 2 6s. That's plus 3 dice for Praanz da Kaelve's disguising herself and sneaking out.
Okay, so how many dice am I rolling altogether?
You're
Clearly,
rolling
this was meant to be.
5, 7 altogether.
Don't jinx the dice yet. I imagine Taralese has walked out with like a couple bottles of booze.
Oh no, we're good.
Yeah, that is 3 successes. That's probably gonna work just fine. I'm gonna roll a win check for them just to see. But
Someday we'll find something that Mathis is good at.
No. He's serving his buddy Praanz very well. He's distracted his own buddies.
Exactly. Or not.
No, you have 3 successes. They only have 2.
Someday we'll find something that Mathis is good at on purpose.
That day will never come. He is forever the joke character. Let's be
Mathis-
real here.
Clearly.
Mathis is my idiot good luck charm.
Yes. And it was completely the dice that has decided this for Mathis.
Yes.
Nothing else.
He's my idiot good luck charm. It's fine.
So Praanz manages to sneak out of Trisilva under the nose of Ingolma and her people,
Yes.
and leave for other pastures. Specifically, you're going up to the Goombas. And
So, will Klenora be there, or is it just Lady Taralese escorting me?
that's a good question. I mean, this music is also appropriate for Helterhem because you're literally going to Dracula's castle, right?
There
More
is
lighting.
there actually was a book written by Bram Stoker's great nephew or something like that. Anyway, and it alleges that Elizabeth Bathory was one of Dracula's wives, and ties the legends together. So it kind of fits.
It kind of fits, yeah.
Klenora is probably a bit busy trying to make sure that her other minions
Interests?
are in line. Yeah.
Yeah.
She has some minions to sort out for sure. Going to the Goombas, you can do this 2 ways basically because it's incredibly inaccessible. Really, like you could either travel by boat from Trisilva all the way up the river and to Helterhem, or you can take one of the Goombas' private zeppelins.
I imagine Gomba would have arranged transportation for Praanz and Lady
Just
Taralese.
Creepily waiting for them.
Yeah.
So
Kind of like the carriage in Dracula.
yes, the Gombina family zeppelin is waiting for them. Nice. So she gets to fly there.
Just bobbing ominously.
Great.
I'm not sure the zeppelin does that much. I guess maybe it's. Everybody seen a Zeppelin before? There is a picture of a Zeppelin somewhere.
Well, it kind of depends on the weather, but anyway, because air pressure changes, etc.
It's a balloon, obviously, with a nice carriage portion, big enough to in fact have guests in. And it also has a terrace outside where you can go and look out over the countryside. And the propulsion comes from a group of very well-trained albador birds. They're huge, and it's maybe 10 of them or so. And they they fly the thing in the right direction. There's a driver there with reins and everything to control them. While usually the Goombas in this Zeppelin will party as much as they like.
This is mildly impressive.
I'm picturing all of the birds being like matched like jet black.
Like giant crows.
Personally, I was imagining more like seagulls. I know you understand why I was laughing.
They could have the disposition of seagulls. That's hilarious. But imagine if they weren't black before. They would quickly have been dyed.
Yes, Gomba has spray painted them. She's got an aesthetic going.
That's yes.
Mysterious Duchess.
Yes, exactly.
They're
That's
flock of black seagulls.
And they are making noise accordingly.
Yes. However, all that Praanz cares about, the bar is fully stocked.
It most certainly is. It most certainly is.
So Praanz is having a few drinks because she's been having a time. You know, she's had a little bit of a streak of bad luck lately.
Not to mention, she's still probably jet lagged.
And in a lot of pain.
Yeah. So this is a lovely Passengers Gondola. Is Taralese on this as well?
Yeah, she probably snuck on there at some point since she's kind of supposed to be the, as everyone likes to call it, the minder.
Yes.
I don't feel like it's a good idea to leave Praanz unattended.
Yeah.
Bad things happen.
Especially without at least Tukandra and Matthias to kind of watch her and kind of like, you sure that's a good idea, boss?
I feel like those two are terrible influences.
They are.
Probably, but they probably still have that, you know, whoa, hang on, boss. Before we actually do this, we sure we want to do it?
At the very least, one of them could drag her out of places when they inevitably get in over their heads.
I love how Praanz is a general in the Secret Service and everybody thinks she needs to be babysat.
It isn't necessarily because she's incompetent, but like I could fully see her commandeering this vessel and deciding they were going to go on a bombing run over Palamux instead of to her wedding. Like she's supposed to.
A fleet of Zeppelins doing a bombing run is a potential resource for the future. I'm just saying.
In Praanz's defense, she's probably calculating that, and she doesn't know it's a wedding yet.
Yeah.
If she had been told,
she wouldn't be here.
She would have tried to fly the coop literally.
She was told that Liv had a proposal for her. She didn't say what kind of proposal.
The silk bellows itself is shaped into a giant blood red oil drum, which is the symbol of the Goomba house.
I gotta love her aesthetic.
Yeah.
I appreciate the look she's going for.
They are these albadors are flying in a very particular rhythm, so they're kind of alternately beating their wings, so it's a smoother ride. And you are traveling down the river towards Masmatra and probably gonna veer off across the mountains before you get to Masmatra, because there's no point in actually, you can actually go straight. That's the advantage of having birds. You can go straight like that. Isn't that lovely?
Straight over the mountains.
Yeah.
This is great.
And you will be about Oh, halfway towards the mountains when you disturb a flock of dung terns who are come up and start to shriek and do their dung thing towards the balloon, towards the Zeppelin.
I assume the people steering the thing know how to take care of that.
I mean, is this going to be Clemender or Linvina herself, or is it Trimble? Who would be the Gomba host here?
I think it would be traditional for Clemender to be hosting as the eldest acting brother.
Sounds good. He will, with a swagger, go up to...
Eldest brother she's willing to admit to?
Yeah.
Eldest brother she's willing to admit to.
Exactly. He is going to grab a spare barrel of Silvolium and throw it overboard with a burning fuse attached to it. And that lightens the load a little bit, so you fly higher. But it also explodes in the middle of the flock of these birds, causing many of them to fall down very quickly in fire. He laughs heartily.
Can I see this as it happens?
Oh, absolutely. He's like, good fireworks, that.
Praanz just leans into Lady Taralese. That's an interesting proposition. That I can use.
See, I think you might want to listen to what she has to say. She has many things she can offer to you.
What do you mean?
Oh, didn't you hear? The Bodak has declared war.
The what now? It has declared war?
Yes. Didn't you hear, or were you sleeping through another session?
Yes, I'm afraid I was. Sessions. Cannot think of any more boring things to... but you were... there's a war.
Yes, there is a war that's coming. Didn't you hear? Oh, you're so behind on the times, darling. But that's okay, because I've heard there's an interesting proposal involving your sister. And you know, nepotism goes so far.
Which is to say, just far enough here in our parts.
Precisely. How do you feel about expanding your hunting grounds? Maybe some transmirans?
Are they good hunting? I
From what I
hear
understand.
Simba's having problems with them.
Well,
that
isn't that
weak-minded fool.
Sim- reason enough to go? One up Simba. Show him how a real man handles these rebels.
Oh, there's gonna be a manipulation attempt, I hear.
I will aid Lady Taralese if I can.
How will you aid her?
I will give Lady Taralese a dice and basically go on about, Simba's a fool and I would know I'm family and...
That's not how we aid. You are going to roll something, like an ability roll of some kind. If this is... You have to motivate which blood. All your bloods are the same, of course, in this case. I don't see how any of your abilities figure into this, so yeah, roll 2 dice, basically. I'm gonna go with water because it's the most straightforward. Oh, look at that!
Ooh.
I help.
You help!
You did.
That is +2 dice for Lady Taralese as you are
Look at
talking to
Praanz being
Clemender.
social and stuff.
Right?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to bitching about Simba, I think it's valid.
I mean,
Well, they
yes.
are talking about war, so...
You are talking about your own cousin, so,
Yeah. What a useless twat he is.
Right?
I mean, you would think killing people at least would come naturally.
You would think. But even that he fucks up.
Yep. He certainly does.
All
He
right,
can't
so
take down an actual leader, but he can burn a child.
Clemender is a higher ranking noble than you, Lady Taralese, so he gets a bonus die for that. But, and I'm also going to throw in a couple of his dice here. He's a good machinator, So I'm going to give him 2 for that. And total then, he has 3 water, 1 for noble, 4. So plus 2 is 6 altogether. Clenora da Goomba is not to be trifled with.
I mean, worst comes to worst, she's just trying to stroke his ego.
That's 3 successes, but...
He's a hothead, but he's a smart hothead.
He's a smart hothead. Now, he hides his smarts behind the hot-headedness very often. Now, Lady Taralese, did you want to use Fate Die for Machinator here?
Yes.
Very good. And, of course, you will also have the bonus 2 dice. It was 2 dice, right? From Praanz?
Mm-hmm.
So that puts you to 3 plus 2 is 5. Yep, 5 dice. 2 successes, which is not enough to make him bend to your will.
Can you pull on an experience?
I would think I could.
Yeah.
I think I could use that experience for that.
I think so, yeah. Let's do that. Oh no. That's sad.
Oh well, I get to level up.
You do. There's always that. Clenora da Goomba is one of these slippery, and this is how the slipperiness translates. No matter how you poke and prod at him, he doesn't take the bait, and he has these lazy, I don't care about anything except my own fun type of eyes that just don't really go, I'm gonna bite on this.
Nah, she's already got the nibble, so he'll be back.
Yeah, he might be back. Yeah. He's all like, this is interesting. Yes. Tell me more. Maybe you can come over and give me the latest news at some point.
Unwilling to be drawn, which doesn't mean he won't eventually be convinced.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that when he engages with this, he will do it on his own terms. Let's say.
For now.
For now.
Unless something were to come to him and say a dream.
For example, like that. Yes, that could happen. Yeah.
Taralese's made it personal now.
I am so tired of being handled.
You are going to pass across the Sombra Marshes, the Shadow Swamps. It's just a vast area of overgrown marshes and swamps. It's trees everywhere. You can't see the ground, and that is probably just as good. There are no settlements or villages or any type of concentrations of people there. It's uninhabited, said to be impassable, really. This is a region where Paratonians will not enter if they absolutely don't have to. They have to be a bit brave, a bit reckless. Maybe some hunters, maybe some trappers go in there to the outer fringes of the swamps every once in a while, but not much more than that. Because the flora and fauna in there is quite dangerous. The crow flies are notoriously well known. They are so named because they are in fact flies that are the size of crows. And they are very noisy. Now, they don't attack people physically for the most time. They mostly just hang around, just out of reach for swatting or melee weapons and so on, and just stay there, day in and day out, until their buzzing drives you actually insane.
That really annoying fly that you can't find, but 10 times bigger.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
That's not the only things that you'll find there. There are also strangle vines that hide underneath the surface of the water, and grip unsuspecting travelers and drag them down to watery doom.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. And then, of course, the most notorious, perhaps, of all the denizens of the swamp would be the gray marsh skunk. It's a 2 feet long omnivore, very peaceful and inconspicuous, but it has a fearful defense. And that defense is, it's actually empathic. It can absorb the feelings of other creatures and send those feelings out in defense when needed. So it will send emotions it previously perceived against attackers, and hopefully these alien thoughts will then take over the will of the opponent and drive them away.
Awesome.
Yeah, there was, it's said that 10 years ago, a band of 200 men gathered to kill a single marsh skunk that had learned a hunter's fear of death while he was being eaten by a spider vine. And this skunk had blown up 4 people's hearts and driven 3 more insane by subjecting them to that experience.
So we need to capture some and just set them loose on the rebels?
I was gonna say, I want one.
Praanz needs one as a pet.
Rodents of unusual size? I don't believe they exist.
Exactly. So these are the kinds of critters you can find in that swamp.
Vaudeville Scoffer's an old hand at exotic animals by now. I'm sure I could send him to grab one.
You
Sure,
can.
absolutely be fine.
I'm not sure Praanz is paying much attention to the scenery. She's just daydreaming about dive bombing Majora. It's the easiest way to take care of all those dead. It'll just blow them all up in the sky.
Sure. Oh, so this is going to be like a combo thing? Some of these skunks and Sylvolium, and then people burning to death, absorbed by the skunks, and then the skunks into the rest.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well,
Very
Praanz
complicated.
is aware that the Restless have, stats in certain areas that undead don't have, thanks to a certain necromancer being very pedantic about it.
This is great. It's great.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
You will also pass by Mount Rance on your way, and it's the sacred mountain that rises out of the northern waters of Lake Malossi. You will see from afar, of course, several temples on the slopes that are built in a very peculiar funnel shape out of the mountain. And you will probably see, the little specks of the monks that are walking around there, and they're walking very slowly. Runtine monks do everything slowly. Clemender will laugh at these folks, too.
Do you always laugh at your religious?
No, yes, well, mostly, yes. I mean, these are particularly fun fellas. They're sitting there in their caves and stilling their heart rates and breathing really slowly, and they think they can hear a syllable spoken by the mountain. It's hilarious.
Don't you have a brother who does that?
Yes, and he is hilarious indeed.
I would think he's too still for you to take any real pleasure out of that.
Angon Trim does what Angon Trim does.
Be an embarrassment to the family?
Not really, we just put him in the kitchen looking at the wall. That way no one can see him. Except the servants, and they don't count.
Fair enough, I guess it gives him time to listen to the stones of the hearth.
I would be careful about thinking your servants don't count. They can be very useful, and all have ears.
Oh, they're very useful indeed.
She passes a look to Lady Taralese.
She'll just give a little shake of her head, like, don't show your hand.
Lady Taralese has had some personal recent experience of servants learning things.
So yeah, Helterhem itself is a very sturdy fortress. This is like, you know, the type of mountain fortress with walls, battlements, moat, towers, arrow slits, the whole 9 yards. This is not a showy Tresilvan palace that looks more like something happened, you know, in the 16th century Paris, I guess.
Again, Praanz looks vaguely impressed.
Welcome to our humble abode, says Clemente.
It's lovely.
Yeah, indeed, yes. Rustic, sturdy, good for hunting expeditions into the mountains and out into the forest. I'm sure you hunt, yes?
Yes. I haven't had the opportunity to hunt animals lately. I've been mostly military missions, that type of hunting, but I do hunt.
It is good, though, after all. I think we might find some good skeckers to hunt, probably, if we're very lucky.
I have to look at something. Yeah.
Obviously, they will use like servants to go and beat the forests to scare the prey. So you don't have to be a hunt master to hunt with these guys. This is more like, you know, the kind of fox hunt you'd see among English nobles, except they're doing it to skeks instead. Yeah. Charming company, isn't it?
Praanz looks mildly irritated.
Lady Taralese, do you hunt as well?
Unfortunately, I'm more of a gossip hunt than I am a true hunter.
A true Tresilvan then.
However, I think if you were to allow Praanz to get her hands a little bit more dirty, she might be more interested in that.
I love dirty hands. In many ways.
Oh, I bet you do.
Smack over the shoulders.
But come, we came to... Your sister has business with her.
Yes, she does indeed.
As he walks ahead, Praanz will step back a little and whisper to Taralese, this proposition better be good.
Well, look at all the assets it comes with if you say yes.
Huge tracts of land.
Mm-hmm. And she has them too. I'm sorry.
I have designed her token.
Evil Snow White.
Yes, evil Snow White. Very much so. How would Praanz get along? How would Lady Taralese get along with Linvina?
I mean, being very much a political and social animal who tends to who's used to finding herself being the smartest person in the room, she probably finds it mildly refreshing but annoying.
Because Linvina is also smart in the room.
Do I need to switch personalities then?
If you want. It's interesting because Praanz is probably the least smart person in the room of these four.
The four. Praanz is an idiot.
But she's a useful idiot.
Which is why
Taralese likes her and Klenora has decided to believe in Taralese's investment.
Praanz has been extremely useful. She's a good pawn.
So how will Linvina engage with Taralese?
Welcome, guests. Please make yourselves at home.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing us to be able to use your flying. I'm blanking on the term for it, personally.
Something similar to Zamboni.
Zeppelin?
Zeppelin.
That's it. I knew it started with the Z.
Taralese would remember. I did not. But your Zeppelin, it was a wonderful educational experience. In fact, I think it's perhaps made her far more interested in hearing what you have to say, my lady.
Of course. All of my amenities are at your disposal.
I do wonder, perhaps, your brother had suggested a hunt. I know the Gumbos are infamous for it. But maybe something a little bit more intimate for you two would be more appropriate. Praanz loves working with her hands. And I hear you do too.
Excellent idea. I can have something brought up.
She's a wonderful musician.
And Linvina just snaps her fingers and servants scuttle.
Yep. Because they know what happens if they don't.
Well, shall we feast first?
Maybe there will be an amazing culinary experience here.
Oh yeah, the table is fully decked out, and it is a carnivore's dream. Every kind of meat done in any way you can think of. Very Tudor-esque decadence.
Yeah, Clemender will insist on serving baked crowfly. Creamy, yummy interior.
Yeah, Taralese is definitely going to draw from her experience with the fish on that one, and you know the fish I'm talking of.
Yes, I do. And the booze is just flowing freely.
Oh, yes. There will be no sober minds this night.
No. Hoping that Praanz will agree to things while she's smashed.
I imagine at some point, Liv is just like, why don't I show you to my torture chamber? And they just both disappear and have a lovely date making beautiful music together.
That's exactly what happens.
Oh my god.
Taralese will see Praanz come out later, very drunk, indecent, and covered in blood.
Oh my god, it's
and
so
just
romantic. The first date is so
smiling ear
romantic.
to ear.
I remember the first date so well, they say 30 years later. You took me to your torture chamber and showed me all your special tools of the trade.
Yeah.
Oh god. That is not a conventional date.
No, but it's definitely fitting for Praanz.
While we are here in...
Weirdly enough, Folda ended up being taken on a not dissimilar date. So she enjoyed it rather less.
While we are at this little retreat in Helterhem where Praanz is convalescent, why don't we level up Taralese? Because she gets some rest up here, I'm sure.
Yes, Taralese has a suite all to herself.
Of course. So what are you gonna get a new ability level in?
I think it's gonna have to be in Machinator, since she's been trying enough.
All
least.
that, yes.
Yeah.
So what is the new expertise then? Do we want some hooks this time? Because that's something Klenora can do, but not Taralese. Yet. Or gossip? She's been doing a lot of that too.
I think Probably more gossip, because that's kind of what she's been doing more. Especially with the whole psychic paper thing she was doing, and yes, of course I belong here. What are you talking about? At the wedding.
Yes. That was brilliant, by the way.
You can then give people extra reputation. They level up their reputation when you start gossiping.
Oh, perfect. Because that's what she plans to do anyway, because she wants to make Praanz larger than life.
Considering while staying with Duchess Gombina, she lets out her inner hedonist. There are stories to tell.
Which of course means that Linvina will also see Praanz's shame, right?
Yes.
That's another fate die for you there. Woohoo! You got
So
two
I think the experience is going to be I'm the one who revealed that Praanz was in fact not dead.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and write that if you want.
Can that be... Because Jessica kind of gave me the idea. Can that be tramp stamped over?
Which what? Oh, the family shame?
Yes.
I guess. If you have a skilled tattoo artist or something like that.
Because I feel like Linvina would offer to
Then you'd have to
tattoo
switch
that
to...
for Praanz if she wanted it.
Yeah, then you'd have to switch to another Bane, basically.
Okay.
Which, and I'm fine with that. Like, switching Bane, that's... Why not? That can happen. But it could be a cool scene if we bring in, like, some interesting tattoo artist to do it for you. Like,
Yeah.
It would be a cool story about them as a couple, that she was the one who helped Praanz deal with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But before we deal with that, I feel like we should pay a little bit of attention to Palamux as well. Because Georgina has been very patient with us, hasn't she?
No, it's been fun. I literally did want to see this how this scene unfolded, so I appreciate the opportunity. Also feel a bit weird since my scenes kind of only involve me, really?
I am sure select people might get extra fate dice for playing NPCs or nothing, if nothing else. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Fontaslore, I guess, or are we somewhere else?
Yeah, I think Fontasalor, because that is where all of the relevant people are at this juncture, I think.
More or less, yeah. I'm gonna say that the adventurers at this particular moment are out doing shenanigans elsewhere.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which, of course, will come to Klenora's knowledge, because the entire province is working on the same thing at that point, with priests of Tammuz singing the same litany at the same time, and so on, forming a gigantic geomantic pattern to support Sir Artigue's efforts. Things like that get around. Kind of hard to keep it hidden.
And the results thereof.
And the results thereof, exactly.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, every spellcaster on all of Palamux probably felt that.
Yeah, not... It's only 2 power levels, though. The 6 is there, so yeah, power level 5 altogether. Yeah, that's a fair point.
I thought you'd said it was, like, power level 6 or something.
Yeah, because of all the 6s he rolled, it was power level 6. You're right. It's 2 fate dice plus all the 6s he rolled, so... yes, that's gonna be felt far and wide. The Quichotte will go, huh?
What did you do?
I will be pleased to let them know, since I was there for it.
Yes. Yeah, you want to speak to the Quichotte, don't you?
Well, first off, I need to go to the local. If there is a local temple to Tammuz, I need to go there and give thanks for the forthcoming bounty, and also because I think it would be helpful to boost the profile of the of Tammuz in this area, since after all they were literally the only tradition that Folda could convince to marry her and Geryon, so she's not going to forget that soon. And I mean, really, if you want an area to be fertile again, that there are worse gods to petition.
Yes, and I mean, at this point, the Tammuz priests, there aren't many of them around here, though I feel like because of how desperate the locals are to get any type of growth anywhere, they are probably more likely to bring in Tammuz priests than, say, like the Safinians, because they just take it for granted. Our soil is so fertile, we can just eat the soil directly if we need to, in a pinch. Yeah, it's like that on Safina. It's ridiculously fertile, that island. But here it's quite the opposite. This is the least fertile area in basically all of Dracoria. So they will be desperate for divine intervention. So maybe there are more Tammuz priests around Outer Moscoria at least than some other places. At least the farmers will be the few and far between. I think they're mostly just sheep herders, to be honest, because trying to grow wheat
I imagine there's
hopeless.
like plenty of like little shrines to Tammuz, but maybe not much in the way of official priests.
They're not very powerful around here, no. There will be shrines, there will be, barefoot priests who tend to the local villages, and so they're more influential and present for farmers and local villagers than in high society. There wouldn't be a whole lot in Fontrasalor. Why would they be there? Nobody's gonna.
So I'm definitely slumming it by going to their temple, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, you are. it's a very, very humble shrine. That's a good way of putting it. It's a humble shrine.
Well, hey, I just spent the past month or so hanging out with some like homeless people, so
Murder hobos, you might call them.
They dress better now, but like we'll see how long that lasts.
Like maybe they are murder hobos? Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
At least hobos. Definitely hobos.
Yes.
Yeah, so like I'm not sure the extent to which this needs to be a scene. Like Lady Brythanni's intention is to go to the temple to give thanks and spread the word of the bounty that is coming to Moscoria and the miracle that occurred there. Praise be to Tammuz for bringing life back to these plains. And isn't this a good omen, by the way? Also, and to sort of more, at least feigning discretion in this respect, but also giving thanks for the fact that their Imperial Majesties will soon be hearing the pitter patter of little feet. Praise be to Holy Tammuz, who has clearly blessed this marriage. And
I feel like since this is an active attempt to make these priests, increase the positive relationship with priests of any sort, including the Tammuz priests. I feel like this is there's space here for a machinator role.
Okay.
I would say.
You saw the new shadow command I put in, yes?
I think so. Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah. Given that this is important and also kind of in line with the character's destiny, because I feel like she's way more enthusiastic about having served Holy Tammuz than most people would expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm gonna give you 3 fate dice, in fact, for destiny. Yeah, Brythanni is more religious than you would think at first sight.
She tried to tell Garion that she was merely a humble servant of the gods, and he was like, "You're a lying snake. That's what you are." She's like, literally telling the truth, my dude. But thanks.
Yep. So if you want to do water plus mech, because you have a new machinator rank.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So that is going to be 4 dice. I'm
Yeah.
not going to make the mistake I did last time and just.
You do
roll
have,
it.
as a lady in waiting to the Empress, a lady of the court of the Empress, I give you an extra die for that.
Okay. I feel like she's also bringing a not insubstantial offering too. Since that just seems polite.
Yes, and given influence level 3, that can happen. Do you want to spend a fate die to get 3 extra dice for this? Then you would have spent 2 fate dice altogether, but I'm thinking here about invoking Folda's support.
Yeah. I mean, this is part of the story that Folda is trying to tell, so I think invoking her support would be helpful here.
Yep, let's do it.
Alrighty, so that gives me 8 dice.
I think so, yeah. It's 3 for the water, 1 for the machinator, 1 for noble, 3 for Folda support. Yep, there we go.
That is an utterly terrible roll. I'm going to re-roll that.
It is.
I
Spend the experience for the machinator immediately.
Yeah. I am way better at talking to people than this.
Yes, you are.
Much, much better.
Much better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 success. Oh, you just re-rolled all the dice? That's fine.
Well, yeah, I had no successes, so
No, you had 2 successes. The 4s were,
did
were
I?
successes. Yeah.
Yeah, you had 2. You had 2 4s.
my apologies. Let me fix that.
Uh,
I did not see that at all.
You had 2 successes, yeah. There we go. That works too. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. One of them a 6.
Jesus. I mean, taboos.
That's gonna work. Like, even if I take the most experienced priest and I could throw in because clearly this is a wretched hive of scum and villainy. They will have, someone who has a little bit of social graces and influence abilities, so...
Yeah, I feel like you don't actually survive in Fontrasalor unless you are either physically deadly or have some social skills.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna have it a total of 5d6, just because it's an institution you just talk to as well. It's not just a single guy.
Makes sense.
And I get a 6, but it's only 3 successes, so, you had 5 successes. So, yes, that is indeed what happens. You speak to the local priests. They will be quite impressed by the generosity of Folda. Of the Empress, I'm sorry. Empress Georgiana now. Georgiana the First, I'm sure. Is it Georgiana the First and the Greatest? We'll find out in a few shadow turns, I guess.
Georgiana, first of her name, Empress of the Gleegians.
Exactly.
By acclamation of the crowds in Fontrasalor.
Exactly. Yes. And become very much swayed to her side, not just because they've been bribed, but because they are being convinced that she is one worthy of support. I have a feeling down the line, maybe priests might in fact become a resource for Folda, like Tammuz Prince or something.
I was thinking about it when I first when I gained the influence in Fontrasalor, but I was like, that doesn't really work with the story that I told. So,
you know what? I'm gonna give you a scene with a Kishati priest.
Oh no.
Yes.
Can I fix my face first?
This is while you're doing the charm offensive at...
Oh no. Okay.
It's all gonna be fine, I'm sure. Right? Right?
Well, I haven't been made yet, so. Boy.
Let's see now.
He just happens to overhear this enthusiastic conversation.
Or maybe, I mean, this is, if we're abstracting it a bit, you start talking to the Tamuzi, he could come and seek out Lady Brythanni later on, like a few days later, and like come to the actual Folda residence.
My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm fairly certain she has someplace that she's staying in town. Because I'm sure thinking he's not going to come to the estate in Moscoria.
No. No. This is like a visit. He will use some subterfuge here, though. That's not like there's going to be pomp and circumstance and lots of people around to.
My goodness, a priest of Shamashi using subterfuge.
He is not banging the great big drum of his right on his arrival here. That is.
I'm not wearing the pearls, or I would clutch them.
Right, and wisely so, I think. Wisely so.
Yeah. Okay. So, he has come to the to Folda's estate, and he's looking for Lady Brythanni. Is that
Yep.
it?
That is exactly it.
Who does he say he is?
I'm just looking for my sheets here. That's not intimidating at all, is it?
No. Oh, I'm gonna be in so much trouble.
I feel like it's kind of the inevitable. Like, she always knew this day would come. The House of Cards begins to shake.
Well, she's gotten cocky because she's gotten away with it so often recently.
Yeah. This fellow is slightly. This is a bit weird. Slightly obese, and almost gives it's like he has been too much close to cooking fat that has put itself in a layer over his forehead. He has like oils and such that he has smoothed his hair in, and there are
Ornament and subterfuge.
There are he even has jewelry and rings that are, obviously false. It's not real diamonds or anything like that.
False jewelry is even worse.
And
next you're gonna tell me he has a mirror.
Right? These clothes are probably discarded fashion from Tresilda, with the hat kind of down over one of the ears. And
Okay.
there's a couple of fairly broad-chested fellas who accompany him. They will make sure that it's Fontrasilor. You need a couple of broad-chested fellas to keep.
That's not even remotely weird at all.
No.
That is the least weird thing about this situation.
Yep. And when he's been introduced as Master Marinor.
Well, you are very welcome here, Master Marinor.
He takes the hat off. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do we have a place where we can speak that is perhaps away from prying ears?
My goodness, sir, you intrigue me. Certainly. May I offer you some refreshment?
Certainly, yes.
I'm afraid my mistress eats a rather abstemious diet these days, but I'm sure I should be able to find something.
Don't trouble yourself too much on my account.
Please, you are a guest. And
Too
yeah,
kind, too
I'm
kind.
sure there is some place they could talk.
Yes.
I have no idea what Folda's place looks like, but presumably.
I mean, if you're actually at the Folda estate, though, I feel like this is not.
Goodness no.
You know, this is where she receives guests. Not yeah.
Not this place.
Now, there's gonna be an office. There's gonna be an office with like office/library where you can speak in nice, very comfortable chairs to the local nobles and convince them of her Majesty's absolute amazingness. Yes, he will take a seat. I must say, the Empress has made quite an impression far and wide.
I'm very glad to hear it, as will Her Majesty be.
I would be most honored if I can at some point meet Her Majesty, or rather, I should say that the man I work for would be so.
Yet more and more intriguing.
Hmm.
And whom are you here representing?
I am representing the Crystallocrat Manzola of the Holy Kishad.
My goodness. I'm untutored in such things. Master, sorry, what was his name again?
Manzola. I don't think anyone has really heard of that man. Unless you have like learnings and.
Sorry, the person she's speaking to. Lady
He
Brythanni,
has an.
remember
His
I
name
have
is
forgotten.
Marinor. He calls himself Marinor.
You'll have to forgive me, Master Marinor. I'm untutored in such things, of course, but you're not quite what I was expecting. I would like to make a machinator roll about this dude's intentions, because I feel like this is a trick.
Yeah, feel free to. That's gonna be another fate die, by the way.
Yes, it sure is. All right. Let me just make sure I understand how this works.
Insight is basically.
So I think if I win the roll, you have to tell me something about the student's motivations. You don't necessarily have to reveal everything, but.
Yep.
Alrighty. I'm unlikely to win with that roll.
It's a 6. Yay. You don't have any other social experiences right now, do you?
Let me see here.
No, I haven't even rolled his water yet, so I'm gonna roll his water. It's a 4. You win.
Somehow. All right.
Yes. Right. He is. I mean, he pretends to have a disguise. It's the worst disguise you've ever seen. You don't know how it can fool anyone. He dresses like someone who pretends, who thinks he knows what a disguise should look like, and who's never disguised himself ever before in his life.
I mean, that scans, honestly, for a Shamashi priest.
But here is the thing: he is not here to be aggressive towards Lady Brythanni or the Empress. He seems to come here like a supplicant or someone who needs something from her. Which is very different from every Shamashi priest you've ever met so far.
That is intriguing. Well, of course, my mistress is very interested in maintaining good relations with the Holy Kishad. You may have heard she is a participant in the decryptification movement, and very grateful to the Shamashi priest who suggested it. I don't, untutored as I am, even I know the dead don't rest well here in Fontresalor, and Her Majesty's beloved grandmother will certainly rest better elsewhere.
Well, what can I say? The thing is, I'm not very used to this kind of thing, I have to admit. The thing is, there are, I know that some of Manzonla's colleagues have, and representatives here locally in town, have been less than cordial in their reception of the Empress and indeed the Emperor. And let's just say that they do not speak for the entire Church of Shamash.
Interesting. I'm certain you're right, Master Marinor. However, my mistress has not taken any offense. Sometimes it is necessary to be a bit abrasive to get to the truth of such things, and she's understanding and has appreciated the guidance she's received. Is there something we can do for our dear neighbors?
There is a schism in several ways. The church does not like to speak of this because it would seem like there is a contest regarding what the truth really is, and of course we can't have that now.
Of course.
But Manzonla is not alone in his frustrations. Manzonla realizes that the current Shar Kishatin has made a terrible mistake. We have an opportunity here to overthrow and break down the greater enemy, the Tracorian Empire itself. And while Girion has, His Majesty has made use of some questionable tools, we have to understand that the end is certainly sanctified by Shamash. So there is reason for us to, as a church, to approach His Majesty, the Imperial couple, with a more forgiving and guiding hand, as it were, so that they may in time understand their missteps and, with the guidance of the shot, become more effective and precise in how they work for the greater glory of Shamash.
Yes, of course.
My point being, if Manzonla and the clergy around him can rally the Kishat to the side of the Majesties, we could create a common front against the Tracorians and their vile idol worshipping of that golden cow of theirs.
I know this has long been my mistress's hope as well. The Tracorian Empire has many sins.
That is the truth. That is verily the truth. So speaketh Shamash. And as such, well, let's just say that there is a faction of more right-thinking and understanding of the truth-seeking priests who has seen the fallacies and distortions of the Sharkishatin, and hopefully within the not too distant future, maybe there might be a rotation of, maybe there could be a time to appoint a new Sharkishatin, and should this new Sharkishatin in fact be the Crystallocrat Manzola, then the road will be open for a strong collaboration between the new Klavikan Empire and the Holy Kishat.
My goodness. Well, how may this humble daughter of the restored Klavikan Empire assist in glorifying Shamash? For surely the Crystallocrat, from everything I've heard, certainly seems to see the truth of such matters.
Quite. Well, the trouble is that the Sharkishatin has, shall we say, a large following of priests on his side. On the other hand, he is rather an ascetic in many ways, and perhaps one day he might make a mistake with his regimen. I don't know many of these things, but stomach ailments can be quite serious at times,
Yes.
I hear.
So I have heard. How terribly tragic if such a thing were to happen.
Indeed, it would be very
But
tragic.
understandable.
Yeah, he would have to be decrypted in that case.
And suffering does bring one closer to Shamash, from what I understand.
It does, yes. I think it is time for the Sharkishatin soon to experience a higher level of suffering for the purpose of getting closer to the truth of God and the sun that shines over us. Yes.
Yes. You have given me much to think about, Master Marinor. Is there a way I may contact you?
I shall stay in Fontrasilor as a person you may contact on this. You will understand the need for some discretion at the moment. The truth is what paves our way, but alas, the masses are still sunk in the delusions of illusionists and other distortionists. So their eyes are still veiled.
Yes, and it's very pragmatic of you, and to give some accordance to circumstance. I understand this must be very difficult.
Yes. You can call me when it's just the two of us. You can call me Hurians.
Hurians.
Yes. I'm. And he takes out a necklace with the sun of Shamash on. Yes. 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 Huriams. There is a small gathering of Crystallocrats who follow Manzola and understands the grandeur and significance of his vision.
Praise be to Shamash.
Praise.
May he help everybody see the truth.
Yes, Shamashi light be with you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And pleasant journey,
Thank you.
Mr. Marinor, and
He will
Hurians.
do some kind of bowing as he walks out. Yeah, so there you have a Shamashi priest who was wearing a disguise and
Wearing a disguise. Fat, so clearly eats to excess. Vain, as he cared about his appearance, trying to hide the balding spot. I feel like this is like trusting a skinny chef. Never trust a fat Shamashi priest.
Oh, and he's wearing jewelry, and it's fake.
the list of sacrileges.
I also denote a touch of flirting.
Maybe.
He was
Lady
kind of
Brythanni's
flirting
just
with
kind
Lady
of
Brythanni.
like that.
Maybe.
Not to mention the fact that he's planning a coup.
And just like straight up told her, hey, you should murder my boss.
Technically, isn't that more of a schism since it's a religious matter?
Yeah, it is a schism. Yes.
Well,
yes.
he did say there was a schism. He
Yes,
was honest
which
about
is
that.
also
Just
sacrilege, because how can there be a
before-
schism to truth?
before he leaves and bows and sort of bows his way out and says, "Oh, my Master Lorians, I hope you don't think it indiscreet of me to share this truth with you, but I hope we may speak frankly with each other. His Imperial Majesty hates being called that."
I will use whatever title or sobriquet you prefer, of course.
Oh, it is perfectly acceptable in public, but I understand that sometimes it's difficult to work with one with whom you share such fundamental disagreements, and perhaps this knowledge may help in soothing the minds of those who understand pragmatic matters to the extent that they are willing to temporarily overlook such things.
Yes.
AKA, be ragingly passive-aggressive about this, my dude. I give you permission.
I think with her newfound machinator abilities, there is a good deal of the whole be careful with your social cues that just kind of passes him by. He is terrible at this social stuff.
He's trying.
He's trying.
Oh, that's gonna go great if he actually gets in front of Garion. Not that Garion's much better, but
Garion is good at this when he wants to be.
Yeah, so I think that was a worthwhile scene for Lady
I
Brythanni
think so.
in her
I think so.
quest on establishing links. I already gave you three dice for and consider this temporary goal fulfilled, probably.
I think so. Yeah, I succeeded far better than I was anticipating. The only remaining step is to slip some information to the Inquisition, but I feel like I have already more than accomplished my goal. I mean, there is a local chapter here.
There is, yes.
And it is completely acceptable to worship all the true procreationist gods. In fact, it would be heretical to only follow one, really.
Right? Absolutely. Monotheism is, in fact, blasphemy, and a little known fact, perhaps outside the clergy, but the Inquisition was involved in something of a religious war on the continent, fighting evil heretical monotheists in the Chalk lands not too long ago. Yep. Had to fight. You can't. No.
Terrible business.
Terrible business.
I was gonna say,
Absolutely.
didn't Errol hang behind? Maybe that's a chance for Lady Brythanni and Errol to have a chat.
I wanted to, but he's not here.
Exactly.
Nothing says you
Next
can't
time.
have it offline, and
That's
then
true. That's
it just kind of gets revealed to the audience.
That's true. Yeah, she definitely has all manner of interesting things she could tell him.
He's on his way home. Whether he'd be able to jump in at the tail end, I do not know, but
Yeah, I'm looking at the time as well. So, but maybe did we have things to wrap up with Lady Taralese as well? Because we did Praanz's thing in Helterhem,
yes.
and Lady Taralese
Nothing
should.
In particular, I did update her shadow command. So I guess the real question is, are there wedding bells?
So Praanz comes out the next morning, thoroughly indecent, covered in enough blood that her tramp stamp's not showing, and with a new rock on her finger.
So there will be wedding bells, in fact.
Oh, Praanz, I'm so happy for you. Oh,
What can I say? We're very like-minded women.
Maybe
And
I
then-
can return the favor.
actually, I will make use of the fact that Klenora pretty much controls all of southern Paratorna, to have that just spread like wildfire. The fact that Praanz is alive and in fact is now married to Lady Linvina de Gombina.
Gombina. Linvina
Gombina.
Gombina. Yes. Linvina Gombina the Helterhem, if you want to be, you know.
So not only can you not kill Praanz, now she's
Now
also
she has
a duchess.
Well, now she's pretty much married to the weapons arsenal of Paratorna.
I mean, Folda had no interest in killing Praanz. She's not the one who kills people. Like, it's not her. It's not her
Oh, no. It's very much recounting the story of how Garion turned tail and ran away, tail
Oh.
tucked between his legs, as Praanz stood firm. And it was only when his minions stepped in and, in a bad show, tried to kill Praanz in cold, not in cold blood, but in a fit of rage at seeing their master so humiliated. Yet here she is, still alive and returned more powerful than ever.
Is this gonna be use of a fate die to regain a fate die because temporary goals, and use your new machinator ability of gossiping?
Yeah.
You can actually use 2 fate dice for that, but you'll get
Yeah.
one back because temporary goal.
I'll put the 2 in.
All right, so I'll
Like,
add
would
the
this
temporary
rumor
goals.
eventually spread to Palamux? Like, should I tell Goat that this is going around about Garion?
Very possibly. That depends on the roll now. You have your 3 water. No, you have 2 water, and you didn't want to redistribute your bloods or anything when you leveled up. Just checking in for to check that.
Yeah, she probably would shift 1. She hasn't been doing a whole lot of physical stuff. It's been pretty
It's
exclusively
been very exclusive, yeah. So
in the
we're
socials. So
Yeah.
water and wind are her 3s.
yeah. Like so many nobles, it's the standard noble array. So we're doing 3 water and 2 dice for Machinator. And
Can Linvina assist?
you know what? Why not? But you would have to draw on your own fate dice pool, which is very small right now, if you want to do that.
All right, we'll leave it. I was gonna say,
But you
I was
can
gonna
go
she
for-
can assist
Can I
by
give her
sending out.
one to try and assist me?
You can. So then we're down to there we go, and then Linvina will have an extra die. So roll 4 dice for Linvina, because she definitely has Machinator and stuff. So 4 dice in total, water and...
She's assisting by sending out wedding invitations.
Yep, that makes sense. Wow!
Yay.
Yeah, she definitely is. That is a major
Folda gets a
assist.
wedding invitation.
Yeah,
Thank you for facilitating the wedding.
that's gonna be +3 on your roll there, Taralese. Also, Linvina actually has an extra die for being a noble, so,
Actually,
wanna roll
Folda
that
probably
final
would get
die.
a wedding invitation because Linvina's still a cultist of Fundabera.
Yeah. Did you want to roll an extra d6 for Linvina's high levels of nobility? Because when she sends out wedding invitations, people take notice, right? Yeah, it didn't matter. 3d6 extra for Lady Taralese, who now has 3 plus 2 plus 3. 8. Yeah, it works!
Yay.
5 successes. And
4 of which were 6s.
4 of them were 6s. That's just hilarious. So
the rumor is basically that Garion was a coward who got humiliated, and the
Praanz is deathless.
Praanz was
Praanz is
unsuccessful.
deathless. Praanz da Kaelve's reputation has now gone up to level 5. I could even raise it to level 6 for all those 6s if you want me to. I'm fine with that.
Garion's a coward, Praanz can't be killed, and now I'm marrying the Duchess that controls the weapons for
Pretty
the
much.
Empire.
And reputation level 6 is, I mean, it's about as famous as you can be on Paratorna without being famous in
Everywhere.
civilized parts of the continent. Like level 7, you have a reputation and fame all across the Empire. So there we are. Praanz's reputation is spreading. She's getting married. Taralese is kind of just rubbing her hands in glee over the intriguing things behind the scenes.
Folda is going to have her work cut out for her trying to stop this from blowing up.
And Lady Brythanni has made an interesting deal, not with the devil. Or is it?
Oh, and there's a vague mention as Praanz saunters out of the room. Oh, Taralese, I need a dress.
Oh, I will get my tailor to work on it right away. You know her. You met her.
Yeah, I think she did the last dress I wore.
And I will say that is a pretty good play, given what the time here in New Brunswick. It's a pretty good time to wind this quarter down, and then we'll get started with the next round of the Game of Shadows. We have a little bit left until book 2, but we're getting there. Mm-hmm.
If this is this type of shenanigans that occur during the intermission, I shudder to think.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. When book 2 starts, we will not be playing, 3 months at a time. It's going to be much more granular, of course, because then action happens and so on. So we might not even, I haven't decided yet, we might not even do a Game of Shadows turn for every time we do a RP session, because with Tracoria around and all, yeah, well, I'll get to that. Too early. Anyway.
I'm gonna be a freaking myth by the time book 2 rolls around.
Exactly.
Legend. Yes, the myth, the legend, the concept, everything. All right. Thanks everyone for listening and watching, and we will see you next time.
Night, folks.
Night, everyone.